What's up, guys? This is Kephas. Welcome back to WoW leveling, everyone. We are still in Stormsong Valley, and we are finally at a place where I've been looking forward since the beginning of this series, where we are going to get to tame a bee. So as soon as I get to the bees, I will say bye to Kirk for a little bit, and then we'll look into taming a bee, because it's like one of my favorite pets in the game now. Because who the heck wouldn't want to be able to tame bees? I mean, if I could get bees to chill and not sting me, I'd be a very happy person, and I'd get free honey out of the deal. So of course I'd be down for that. But it looks like we got other people here as well. And I actually forgot that I'm still PvP enabled, but I'm getting lots of XP. Hopefully I don't get attacked by some evil hordeling. But either way, I would rather get attacked by a bee so I could tame it. But we will see. I don't think the bees are in this part yet. I think it's like in the next area, but we just got to collect a bunch of honey, kill a bunch of slimy looking thingamajiggers, and God knows what else. But we will try our best. So yeah, I like it. Beeville is like my favorite part of the, like my favorite thing about this expansion is the dang bees. I don't know. I don't even know why, but yeah. Okay, so it looks like we actually, for once, I think that since the beginning of me actually even doing this, we actually have other people around here, which is kind of funny. That seems to be more of a classic thing these days, but it's all good. So yeah, we're gonna keep going and yeah, collecting things. Pretty easy stuff here. Got to find books, and yeah, it's just cool. I love, my favorite thing about like a lot of expansions is the quirky side of this. I should just get involved here and help this guy out, because it's we share progress anyways without even grouping up. So yeah, cool. Thanks, man. I always love the quirky side of the expansions, like all the weird stuff that goes on, like the bees, the giant bees, and like all the different like weird monsters and the honey, and it's just crazy. I don't even know what the heck is going on here, but it's cool. But like again, like last time I was just kind of talking about like just last episode, like about just Blizzard and how they conduct themselves, that kind of stuff. Again, like I say this all the time now because I've been getting, I guess I've been getting into more and more topics that can be controversial. I don't even know. Like I hate to even call it that, because it's like I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just talking about stuff that I think is interesting and can generate discussion. I think it's a good thing. I really think that it's good to have discussions about things that you care about. Things that you're passionate about, or things that you think you want to hear different opinions on, and you kind of hope that when people hear your opinion, they don't get too upset, they don't get too offended or whatever, and they can just share their perspective. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll find out that you had the wrong perspective to begin with. That's me a lot of times. Like I will come across like I'm very opinionated, and honestly, it's just that I like to say how I feel, and sometimes I'll find out that I maybe had the wrong impression about something, and I'm happy to hear different points of view, and that honestly is a lot of times why I like to talk about stuff. It's just to get different perspectives, maybe learn. I know like a lot of times, like, when it comes to WoW and Blizzard games and Blizzard as a whole, I tend to be very critical, and being critical is sometimes it's very uncomfortable, because you don't want to be like too harsh. You don't want to be like, dang, like just beating them up, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like you want to be like helpful critical, I think. But like sometimes when you see like certain behaviors with Blizzard, it's like, man, it's really hard to be helpful here. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to look at the situation and be like, well, here's what you should do. Maybe treat your employees better. Like that's kind of like, it seems like that'd be a given. You know what I mean? But like, whoa, what's going on? We're getting attacked. I think that like in some situations when it comes to the company, hire better leaders. And then start treating your employees better, and start treating your gains better, and start treating your everything better. And I think that like for Blizzard, to fix a lot of their mistakes right now, I think it's going to be a hard transition for them, because I think that they have royally screwed up a lot consistently. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse for them. Bad PR, like just a lot of like questionable things that they've done, whether it's how they treat their employees, how they treat people who express their ideas, how they treat their games, how they treat their customers. It's a lot of a lot of bad. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be, for them, I think it's going to be a very hard road. Like, if for no one else, for the people that work their day to day, I think it's people that have to interact with customers. I think it's going to be a hard road for them because, like I said, they have a very, they have a very negative, impression right now with a lot of people. And the only way they can fix that is by changing now and trying their best to fix it. Like, do better now. You know what I mean? Like, the changes, like the improvements won't be noticed overnight. But and I don't even know if they will do this. I highly doubt it, actually. But like, if they were to say, let's start being more consumer friendly, let's start treating our employees better, and we're going to get a lot of heat for a while. But let's take a different approach to our games, because like I talked a couple episodes ago about, like my negative impressions of them has been growing consistently to the point where even the way they design their games sometimes seems a bit malicious. Like I see that with WoW. I'm even starting to see it a bit with Overwatch, and I love Overwatch. I'm getting ready to start, working on some content for that game, but like, a lot of times with Overwatch, for example, because I talked about WoW a couple episodes ago, but like, it's a good game. I mean, I love that game so much. I love Overwatch. It's a game that they seem to have designed it to appeal to a lot of people. But at the same time, like they designed the game around, look, bees. We finally found the bees. Cool. We can tame a bee now. They seem to design the game itself around what works for their esports league. And it can be very frustrating at times, because like there will be times where they'll make changes and I'm like, am I even playing the same game here? Because like these changes seem mad, like crazy. And then you realize, oh, they're doing it because they're trying to either appease the Overwatch League players, or that's like what they think is representative of the entire game. Like for example, they'll nerf a character that gets picked a lot on League, but then they don't get picked much in lower ranks, and that's because in lower ranks they're not as effective. But like, or they'll buff a character that you're like, this character is dominating lower ranks. They buff them, and now they're really dominating lower ranks. But in the higher ranks, like in competitive Overwatch League or whatever, that character is not doing as well because the same people play the league. Oh look, we're gonna tame a bee now. The same people play League, and they know how to deal with the character, but like in lower ranks, people don't know how to deal with the character, so they dominate. Like so like a character, for example, like Bastion, he's useless at higher ranks, but in lower ranks he's highly effective because lower ranks don't know how to deal with him. So if you buff him, he's going to dominate even more in the lower ranks, and it seems like a lot of times they don't really care about the lower ranks, like where most people are, because they care about making Overwatch League either look more exciting or, appease the people that play Overwatch League. Like, so like, for example, in Overwatch, one thing that's really bad is because you can queue up for tank, just like WoW, you can queue up for tank, healing, which is called support, or DPS. And what you'll find, just like in WoW, the DPS, where everybody wants to queue up, has the longest queue time. And people are like, Blizz, you need to fix this. But what they end up, yeah, we'll work on that. But what they end up doing is they'll nerf all the tanks and healers. So it's like, nobody wants to play these guys. Like, you keep nerfing them to the point where it's like no one, like, they were already kind of boring. People had the perception that they were boring, and now they're even worse because you nerfed them even more, and now they're like even less effective. And then you wonder why no one ever wants to play them. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck, dude? But you realize it's not because they think it's best for the game. It's because they think it's best for their esports league, which will make them a lot of money, which they're trying to make work, which no one cares about. Like, sorry to say, there are 5 people out there that might care about it. Most people, they just want to play the game. Like, the masses who play the game, like, I mean, masses, but there's a lot of people that play Overwatch. They just want to play Overwatch. They don't give 2 craps about this league. It's never gonna, like, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? And it's like, they do this a lot. Blizzard, like a lot of times, they have these goals. They think they're going to do something amazing, and more often than not, they end up shooting themselves in the foot. Like they shoot themselves in the foot so much that I'm surprised they even have feet left. Like it's something that they're really bad about. Like I hate I was watching a streamer just flat out say it. I think they're incompetent. And like I hate to say that because that seems harsh, and I don't want to be harsh. Did my pet die? Nope. Or maybe. No, he's fine. We just got him. Okay, we're good now. There's like so many bees here, I can't tell which one's mine. They all look alike. But like they come across like like sometimes it feels like they're incompetent. It's hard to say that because like I'm not a game developer, obviously. Like I who am I to say that they're incompetent? But like sometimes you just question their decisions. Like, what are you guys doing? I'm not a game developer. I don't work there. But these days, like I used to, like a lot of people would say, they know what's best. They see all the data. It's like they want to make, like they think this will make them the most money, and everything that they do is designed around that concept. Like, what will be the most effective in terms of our revenue, not what will be the most fun. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And so, like a lot of times, sometimes you feel like not that they shouldn't try to make money. Of course they should, but like you design it to be fun, and guess what? There's a good chance that it'll probably make you a lot of money. You know what I mean? And you're building up goodwill with your player base. I don't know if they're capable of doing that right now, and that's why I say like it's going to be hard for a while, because like they have to come to terms with the fact that it feels like very often the way they do things is actually hurting them. It may look good on paper, it may look good in the short term, but the thing, like people say this all the time, well, of course they're going to do, like of course they're going to add this in, it's going to make them money. It's like, look man, what people don't seem to realize, a lot of people, and it's becoming more and more of a thing, because you'll start to see like if people don't like something, like they'll say, "Oh, it's going to work out great." It's like, yeah, in the short term maybe, but if you do something enough and people start to notice it, eventually people are just going to leave. And it's like it's like you're burning your candle at both ends. It's like you're trying to make as much money as possible, but what you don't realize is like you might make more money in the short term, but in the long term you're going to be out of business because you're going to drive all your customers away. And I don't know if Blizzard's necessarily doing it at that level yet, but they're definitely, shooting themselves in the foot a lot. I mean, Overwatch definitely it didn't reach the heights that it probably could have, and that's because they, it's not. A lot of people say it's because Fortnite came out. It's like, yeah, Fortnite did come out, and that did drive a lot of people to Fortnite, but I think that Overwatch could have held itself stronger if they had focused on designing the game around what the whole player base wanted and what was best for the whole player base, and not just on what was best for Overwatch League, which only a small portion of the player base actually gives a crap about. And that's something that like that kind of goes in like a lot of things about their design. Like a lot of people can say, well, they're doing great because I like this. You know what I mean? But the truth of it is, does everybody like this? I mean, you can't please everybody, but do the most people that are interested like this? If not, then it may not be the best decision. That's like, if you cater WoW entirely to raiders, you're going to make a lot of hardcore raiders happy. But like, it might be shocking to some people to know that not everybody gives a crap about World First. You might. That's fine. Good for you. It's cool that aspect of it exists. But at the same time, you have to design a game around something that appeals to the majority, the masses, and if, oh, shoot. I don't think I meant to shoot him, but okay. Thought there was a quest objective in here, but there's Amber. Maybe that's what I need. But that's kind of the thing. Is like a lot of times you'll find that, you'll be like, what are they doing this for? And sometimes it's like, well, it might just be because they think this is what's going to make them the most money. That makes sense. It's not necessarily designed to be fun. It's designed to keep people hooked. So I'm glad I can just revive my pet that easily. It's really funny. And that's when it seems like it might be you could kind of think of it as being malicious. You know what I mean? Like, is it? I don't know. I don't know if I would say it's malicious. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it. Was I supposed to throw this on that Yeti? Because see, sends in this form of bees to attack. I don't even know. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so we need to get this. Did that do anything? I think it did. Okay, and then this one as well. Okay, those aren't clicking, but looks like there's something. Am I crazy? No. Okay, good. We got. I think we did something. It didn't really pop up on the screen, but whatever. You know, so like that's kind of like, you know, like, and I've been talking about this a lot. So you know, like, look, again, like there are a lot of people that just like they don't see any negatives, and like they may not like what, you know, if you watch the show, you love the game so much that you don't like what I have to say because you're like, everything's fine, I love this game, quit criticizing it. If you don't like it, don't play it. It's like, I mean, it's there's a lot more nuance, I think, than that's like, obviously I like this game, I keep playing it, but you know, I'd like it to be better as well, and you know, like, I'll give my feedback, like, look, maybe design the game to be fun, and you know, and try your best to make it fun and sustainable. But I definitely think that, like, unfortunately, if it goes along, like, if you care more about sustaining than having fun, eventually people are going to get sick of it and they're going to quit, and you're not going to be able, because, like, imagine this, like, it's a lot harder to get people to oh, we're looking for someone. Okay, that makes sense. It's a lot harder to win people back. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you do, you could make the most intriguing expansion ever. But if you've been spending so much time, like, doing things a certain way and you lose people, good luck getting them back. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you do, you might lose people for good. And if you keep going along that path, you might eventually lose people. And no matter what you do, oh, dude, WoW is amazing now. Like, think about, like, you know, No Man's Sky is a good example. You know, like, people just, like, no, I'm done with that. And they actually turned around and fixed it. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually not too bad. But, you know, too late. You done lost people. And that's actually happened with a lot of games. You know, their games start off really poor, and it takes a long, like, you may not get some people back ever. A game like, a good example, like Final Fantasy XIV is an example of a game that, like, it started off poorly. And it had a horrible PR because of how bad it started. Like, it was so bad. Like, what the heck is this game? This is horrible. It took them a long time to win people back, but they did. I mean, they did eventually, and they got lucky. I mean, honestly, it's a redemption story where they got very, very, very lucky, and good for them for doing that, and for, you know, seeing the error of their ways and changing. And I think that, like, WoW can be that same thing. I think WoW is still at a place where it's still big enough. It's still, you know, there's still a lot of people out there that love it. I mean, there are people that came back just to play Classic. I think that Blizzard has the chance that they could even win over those people. You know, they could win back the Classic crowd to retail if they try. And some people are like, we don't want the Classic crowd back. Maybe. But my point being is, like, you know, obviously you want people to play your game. You want as many people as you can. Even if, even if you're someone who loves the game right now, you think it's perfect, there's nothing wrong with this game, you all are crazy. You know, if you, like, I can say, like, you know, I prefer the game when it didn't have Dungeon Finder. But I can also say, if you take Dungeon Finder away, you're going to make people quit because they're not going to like your game because they don't want to do all that stuff. So I accept the Dungeon Finder now as being a necessary evil, even if it's not necessarily an evil. You know what I mean? But it's best for the game. It's what's best for the game now. And so keep it in, obviously. It's what's best for the game. So, like, you might be on the side of people like, you know, I like the game the way it is. I don't think it should change. But most people don't. So maybe they should do something so that more people will want to stick around. And so that way I can also have a game that will be around for a long time as well. You know what I mean? That's always my thinking is, like, even if you like something, if a lot of people don't like it, you know, maybe consider why that is. And, you know, it'll help you understand. And on the flip side, if you don't like it, consider why some people do. And, you know, maybe you know, like, you know, if they decide to go in a different direction, but it's successful, then good for them. You know what I mean? Like, if it's successful, but it doesn't work for me, then fine. It doesn't work for me, but it works for a lot of people, and that's fair. You know, like, that's acceptable. You know, good for them. I wish it would be this or whatever, but, you know, I can go play something else. That's kind of thing. But, like, it seems like right now, they're not doing, like, it's not working out for them super well. And I think, like, I don't know everything that they can do to fix everything. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a lot that they can do to try, but I've given my thoughts. Not saying that my ideas are all great. Not saying that my ideas would work. But I definitely think that just shaking it up, doing things in the outer world outside of the rating, I think that would be good. And then just designing the game around fun, for goodness sakes, and not, we want to keep you playing for months. Like, no, not like, yeah, of course you do, but because it's fun, right? Not because that's what the mechanics require. Like, yeah, we're going to keep you playing for months because we time gate everything, and you got to, like, grind this for, like, months on end to even get anywhere. That'll keep people playing for months. Like, I mean, maybe for people that are brainwashed into thinking that they have to do this, but for a lot of people, they're going to, like, nope, don't have to do that because I don't want to. Screw this. I'm out. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. A lot of times, that's what ends up happening. It's like, oh, well, you done lost me. You done lost me, and you done lost a lot of other people. Good job. Like, and honestly, that's what I'm afraid of. It's like, same with Overwatch. They can release Overwatch 2, and it looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like it's going to be awesome. I'm going to play it because I like the game. It's, there's a lot of reasons why I like the game. But Overwatch 2, they're going to have to change up how they balance the game if they want to keep people around. Because Overwatch 2 itself won't be enough. If they continue to treat Overwatch 2 like they treat Overwatch 1 and balance around this Overwatch League that no one cares about, well, you're gonna get what you deserve because no one cares. And like, that's the problem, right? So, like, it's up to them to listen to what their player base as a whole wants and fix it. And that goes for all the games. Can you make everybody happy? Absolutely not. You're never going to be able to make everybody happy. When you try to, honestly, a lot of times, appealing to the masses, more often than not, it tends to backfire. So, maybe that's not the best move. But at the same time, trying to make a game that has a lot of options, a lot of opportunities to interest a lot of different people, that can, on the other hand, that itself can work. There are a lot of games that do that pretty well. I actually think that Final Fantasy XIV does that pretty well. And I'm not saying that game doesn't have its problems. Of course it does. Every game does. No company is perfect. I'm not drinking the Final Fantasy Kool-Aid or anything like that. But I think that there's room to learn. There's room to grow. There's a lot that they can do. Look at it. We were 114. It's crazy. There's a lot that they can do. And look, man, like, this is very important to be said, because it's like, when you criticize something a lot, it's like, man, you're criticizing this a lot. I absolutely 110%. I root for them. I want them to succeed. I want WoW to be the best it can ever be. I think a lot of people do. When we criticize it, we do it because we love it. We want it to be successful. I don't really care too much about the people that work there, or the company. But at the same time, I want the company to succeed because I want the game to be around for a long time. So of course I want the company to succeed. Like, that's kind of the idea. So by rooting for the game, I also have to root for the company. So, like, here's my, all I can do, just like everybody, I can give my feedback. I can generate discussion, get ideas out there. What do people like? What do people don't like? And that goes for like the past few episodes. We talked about story. We've talked about, different things like that. And, it gets discussion, and hopefully it leads to, learning about, like, what works, what doesn't, what, like, maybe, it's going down in a direction where it's like, I don't like it, but hey, a lot of other people do, so I'm in the minority. Fine, I'll concede my opinion. I'm not, they need to go down this path, and it may not be for me, but it's working for a lot of other people, like a considerable number of other people. Or maybe there's a way that we can appease both. Like, hey, do this for this crowd, and then also do this for this crowd. And even if it's like, I think Classic is that. I think that appeased a lot of people. They got a lot of people subbed just to play Classic. That's a pretty smart move. Glad they finally woke up and decided to do that. So they can learn. I mean, they absolutely can go back on original positions that they had, and I do respect them for that. They have definitely more than once proven that, hey, we're not perfect, but we can learn, and we can try to do better. So, and honestly, that's a big part of why I do always, not saying they watch my Let's Play, because, but like I do what little I can to express my opinions and say, here's what I think. And like I said, if it generates discussion to get other opinions out there, that's always good too. Because it, again, like it helps, it's good for everyone. It's good for the game, especially. So, I if anything else, I can encourage people, like, look, any opportunity you can, in a constructive way, being sincere and being honest, give your feedback about the game, and hopefully they'll listen, or your voice will get echoed through other voices, and people will share, their ideas. I mean, that's kind of important. Like that's how you make the game better, So, like I said, I mean, I think that's very important. That's why I always talk about it. And it's like, I like the idea of using, this series, which is just me playing the game and rambling on about God knows what. But if it can generate discussion, healthy discussion that can, just get different ideas, different points of views out there, then I think that's a good thing. I think that's, it's good for, people to get different perspectives and maybe help people understand the game in a different way. But it maybe can also encourage people to give feedback that might improve the game if they're willing to hear it and listen to it and use it to their advantage and to the advantage of the game. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of like that's kind of what I think about that. I frankly, it's nonsense. It's just games, but I like talking about video games. I like talking about like just my ideas about them. I like talking about like just all the crap that I talk about. It's just fun to just talk about nonsense. Because like what else we want to talk about? Like real world stuff? No, thank you. I'd rather not. Could talk all day about games, man. I love them. So, that's kind of that. But we are still progressing on here in Stormsong Valley. We are level 114, almost halfway there. We are blazing through this content like it's crazy. And looks like there is actually currently an invasion of Nazmir. So on the next episode, we will begin with that invasion. I'm going to head there right now, get that going, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.